All right, first weekly outlook of the year. I won't be doing a yearly outlook just because I think it's kind of stupid to be trying to predict what the market's gonna do for an entire year. Um, but we'll point out some levels to look out for, some ideas that could potentially, end up paying out in 2024. So we'll get started with a bit of a longer term outlook. Not just this stuff the past couple years, but more in terms of what we've seen in the market, for the last couple decades. So, um, in terms of bull market, bear market, okay. Let's see, is this index to log? Okay, so it should be easier to see. We go into cycles, right? Or, well, first off, how long are typical cycles? And, it's pretty easy to determine. You can just go like a monthly. I think SPX goes back the furthest, at least on TradingView, I believe. So we'll do, yeah, I think we'll do that. 93, yeah, it looks like SPX goes back the furthest. So let's just change this to this so it makes it a little bit easier to see. Okay, so bull bear market. So when I say bear market, I'm talking a multi-year bear market. I'm talking sideways action for a couple years. Pockets like this. We can highlight these. Okay. Arguably, we'll just use even highs here. Right. Multi-year bear markets. So how long do these typically last? We'll go all the way up to the breakout. Right around there. Does TradingView have a measuring tool? Okay. How long do these things last historically? All right, so it looks like typically 146 bars. This is on a monthly chart, so quite some time, right? 10 plus years at times when we trade sideways or violent swings up and down. And what do we get coming out of them? Right, we get secular bull markets. Right. So, in our case, although, right, for new traders, this might have seemed like a bear market. Yes, pullback in terms of the greater scheme. Okay. If you're investing long term, we don't really care about this kind of stuff, these little tiny pullbacks. So you'll see people call these like generational dips. They really aren't. If you're in certain names, yes, maybe. But to me, I've been invested since basically 2012, 2013. And still got a long ways to go. So, if we just take the average of these two moves higher, right, we'll include this one too. All right, you get 188% increase there. You get 464% there, 1000%. Let's just say we go up 500%. Right, we've still got a long ways to go. We've still got a couple years of this thing, right? If we just take the last two of these secular bull markets, right? One, two. We just take the last two. Both of these lasted, from 50 to about 70, about 20 years there. And from 82, this one we can consider from all the way back here. From 80 all the way, yeah, so about 20 years. These cycles go on for about 20 years, right? The last two at least. right? 2012 all the way up to 32, potentially in this case, right? 30, 32. And, in that case, S&P can see anywhere from, 8,000 to 1,000 or 10,000. Might seem a little ridiculous now, but that's just what we've done in the past, okay? So just keep that in mind. Not saying we just go straight in a straight line from here, right? If you just invest in this, you could chop around for a year, maybe two, and then continue going on in this, right? Who knows? This is just what we've done the past two, these big secular bull markets, right? And then you get this long period of sideways to down action, pretty big areas of chop if you're looking at it on a 1 month chart, okay? These probably last quite some time, so right, we really don't need to, if we were to repeat the cycle, we really don't need to start worrying about this till around 2030, 2032, right? If we bring this down to a much smaller scale, right, it's sort of what we've been getting the last 2 years. So just keep this in mind. Not really, I guess, tradable, right? When I'm discussing this, no real trade idea to sort of capture this move. This is just a matter of being invested in the markets, right? Who knows what's going to get us there? Maybe it's the AI boom. Maybe it's productivity going through the roof. Maybe it's inflation coming down and staying down. Maybe the Fed fixes it. Who knows? Who knows what it is? I'm not going to try and guess what it is. That's just what I see going on for the next couple of years at least. That's just me. We go down into, what may happen this year. Right, this is your year to date, or this is your 2023 volume profile. No, I know the last couple of weeks, last month, we spent a lot of time trading up here, right? A little bit above all-time highs on the continuous contract. I can go to this one, right? This is the back adjusted one. We still got these highs to worry about, right? And that's sort of that big area of balance we have up here. In terms of, potential areas to pull back, because we will get a pullback. It's just a matter of if it gets bought and where it gets bought. RSI up here on the daily, or this is the weekly, still got a little bit of room to go. RSI is never gonna tell you when exactly the top is, but start to worry a bit when we get extended like this, at least especially on the daily, right? Because each time we do get over, we do see sizable pullbacks, right? And the question then becomes, is the dip gonna get bought? It's different every time, right? How much markets pull back. But yeah, it's still the thing's got plenty of room, right? Weekly chart, monthly chart, or if we pull up an RSI on the monthly, RSI stays above 50 on this last pullback we got back in October. Whenever RSI is over 50 on a really, really long time frame, that's a good thing. Right? And when it's under 50 is when pullbacks, right? Pullbacks up gets sold. When we stay under 50, right? Like in this case here, this is a bear market, right? Another case here, when RSI is under 50, these pullbacks, right, try to get back up to the highs, get sold off. Right? A couple times you do dip under, but we don't really close months below it, right? We saw it in this case, right? So this was a little bit of a worrying sign when I saw it back then. It started to really show signs of some generational chop, sort of like these instances here, right? When RSI just fails to get back over 50 on pullbacks, right? But in this case, we did it here, but quickly regained it a couple months later, and now we're holding above it. So just staring at the volume profile, where are the opportunities for pullbacks? Right, big chunk here, and obviously you could separate this into a couple chunks, with this little area of balance being sort of at least the most visible one if you're just looking at candles, or this stuff down here, right? potential areas of interest, with this being one of the more important ones down here. Man, we already got a bounce off of it in October. So who knows whether this level holds again, and if not, right, expect it to come back down to here. So early into next year, this is my one, it's kind of unfair to call this area one huge area. Kind of hard to trade it, but that uptrend would be your first level of interest. I expect that level to try and hold at least. Right, and for all I know, we could end up chopping up here and building value where there isn't. Okay, so pullbacks, I know this is still 200 some points lower. To me, this is the first level we would need to, this would be a must hold for us to have a very, very bullish year. Going down into here a little bit more worried and under this, and I would not trust this area as much as I did the last time it came down, and maybe expect it to come down into here. So that's just like a little bit of a bigger outlook, right? And going to the daily, we have, looks a little clumped up here. Just labeled a couple things, and it'll be easier to see when I go into here. Let me go change the tick size. All right, and then the solid lines and colored boxes are just going to be the weekly levels I put out, and these will stay the way they are. And the dotted lines are the ones that are, that we can potentially make plays off of intraday more so. For some quick plays and quick scalps and that sort of thing. So multi-day balance here. If we look at this thing overall, this was your FOMC day. That's your one huge level of interest that we haven't seen yet. We did come down to see it on NQ. On ES, we didn't come down to see it. So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-day balance. Shorter term, you could almost say it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3. Maybe a 5-day balance, right? And this little breakdown down to the lows. So if we do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's include these 7 days here. And right, and you have a 5-day balance there, which basically filled in some of the pockets that were missing up here. But even then, you still have some missing excess up here. All right. So going into the week, what are the most important levels to watch? We're trading at 48.20 now. We can actually merge these two. And you can clearly see two distinct values of areas of value, right? This one, big one down here, this big one up here. So buyers' goal is to stay within this upper one. We already did see a dip into the lower one, ended up holding. We saw dips hold. Okay, so now the goal would be to just stay up here, keep and balancing higher. We are missing this excess, so we'll have to see if a move higher is held and continuously bought up, or if that's the end of the auction for now, for the time being. But we'll see what happens. So I have 48.14 sort of as like the lower end marked off. If you're looking at the just TPO, I only have 808 as a level just because this was your previous all-time high before we got up into this area. It's sort of a marks off pretty significant level we've seen the past couple of sessions, and I'm calling 14 as the lower end of this upper balance, but you could say 808 is that lower end as well, right? And then it's a little bit missing here, and this is the upper end of the lower one. So this is what buyers would want to defend. Okay, we do not want price accepting back into this. We want to stay up here, ideally above 14, most definitely 08. And to go see these upper targets, right, and sort of get that excess, that tail out, right, and then we can just let everyone else do sort of figure it out, right, and whether we want to stay up here and create new value, or if a tail up is sort of going to call the end of the auction higher. Okay, so pretty simple going into this week. I'm not expecting too much. Just play the levels and keep it pretty simple. Okay, let me just draw it out for the potential game plan. I know it makes it a little easier for everyone to sort of see. So we have balance up here, balance down here, and this is sort of the questionable part. Right, so if we just take these levels here, those are your extremes for the most part. Right, so what do bulls want to do? They want to stay within this, maybe potentially even spend some time up at the upper end before getting a breakout. Right, bears want to get a breakdown, right, or spend time at the lows, get a breakdown, and keep it under this level to sort of try to get back into this level down here. Okay, and then maybe go lower. Who knows? Who knows what it does? But those are the sort of the potential ways I think price could end up going. Right, if you want to trade sort of the things that I do, this is sort of what I look for. In the case of a bullish break, you either want to see price consolidate at the upper end here and try to long some of these smaller levels, or just wait for the break higher, right, and try to get entries in here. Or, if this keeps going, then you leave a set of imbalances here. You want to see those imbalances hold, right? The bear case, right, you want to see price is trading at the lows. And if you want to wait for the breakdown, you can, and make sure it doesn't get back over. Okay? Or, we could get an immediate breakdown and something like that. And, since I only long, even in this case, I'd be attempting longs down here for a potential bounce back up to this upper end here. Okay? If it's weak, it won't bounce back up here. It'll maybe get a little bounce and then keep going lower. It is what it is. If you're sure, if we do get that excess up, sort of creates the profile. That profile's gonna end up looking like this, right? That's sort of what I expect to happen, or sort of what we need, right? That's why we call it unfinished business. You have a set of poor highs here, so I want to see the profile, sort of how right now it's like this. I want to see the profile finish off here. So that's the plan going into the week. I hope I made it pretty simple for everyone. Going into the new year, I have a couple plans for myself. I've said it in my channel. In terms of my trading style, I don't think much is going to change. I think I'm just going to keep lowering the number of trades I take. I think it's been decreasing every year since I've started trading. It just feels better like that. I don't need to be making that many trades a day, and I think once you guys start trading long enough, you guys will start to notice that it's not necessarily the number of trades you take, but more importantly the quality of them, right? And every day I'm just feeling the need to. I don't feel the need to be trading the whole freaking day or looking for setups the whole freaking day. I will still be around the whole day just because I love what I do. But you'll probably definitely be seeing less trades coming out of me. Maybe some bigger plays and whatnot. But regardless, excited for the new year. Let's have plans for all the trades we take, whether you take them on your own, whether you're waiting for me to get in something. understand the idea of what I'm looking for or what you're looking for before you get in the trade. Know your targets, know where you want to ideally take price, know your stops, know where it invalidates your trade. I do a lot of anticipating what price might do, and then I act on it. That's ultimately what I do. I anticipate what price may do at certain levels, and once I get in the trade, all I do is hope it plays out, and they tend to do pretty well sometimes. So anyway, hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. If you have any questions, reach out. And let's make this year a great year, you guys.